Carmen, and today we've got a reading for you about somebody who is losing their temper and losing control over a situation that they thought they were going to be able to figure out or navigate better than most people do, but they're going to lose their cool or be argumentative in a way that doesn't really help advance their cause, because they feel so confident they should be able to find like an easy way or happen upon some sort of luck that changes everything for them. So let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. And I hope you're having a good day so far. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. And that's in the description box for you. Sorry, I just needed to add another candle to the situation. Yeah. You can also find out how to become a member in the description box. Hello, Grandheart. How you doing? Hello, Key Controller. Hello, Rachel. Hello, Steven. How you doing? Hello, Zatskia. Ooh, let me get my notebook over here. All right, what should we start with? I think we need what's the news. What else do we need? Hello, Jess. Hello, Famous Seamus. Hello, Alphonse. How's it going? I'm doing well, thank you, Rachel. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. So we have somebody who is quick to think that they are the outsider or nobody's really on their side. They have been feeling a lot of pressure or feeling like everything is happening all at once. They don't know how to figure it out, and I do feel like it has to do with mismanagement of money. This high vibing card can often be a positive card, but I feel like this is more so about somebody who is spending too much money. But they've also done something that they're worried is going to come back on them. So I see somebody always looking over their shoulder, feeling like at some point there's going to be consequences for something that they've done. It looks like the thing that they are concerned about has to do with their personal life. This is someone who's had opportunities to detach from their ego, but I feel like they haven't really done that. Maybe they've dipped their toe in that pool, but it's not really something that they've been committed to. But something about their personal life and like love life is coming out that may be a little bit concerning for them. All right, this is the Tarot of the Nile. Hello, Dennis. How are you doing? What else? We have the King of Swords in the reverse. Someone who's seen as a little bit difficult or maybe even keeps to themselves. There could be people who feel like the King of Swords in the reverse is someone who thinks they're better than other people. I do feel like there are plenty of individuals that do not like this person. This could be part of why they're paranoid. They may feel like they have a lot of enemies or people who don't like what choices they've made. With the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse, it kind of feels to me like this is the type of person who doesn't give credit where credit is due. So this is definitely racked up a few enemies for them or people who don't really like them. Hello, Ian. Hello, Jordan. Hello, Lizzie. How we doing? Hello, Abdul. Are you okay? Oh, thank you for the makeup brush. We've got the Four of Pentacles in the reverse and the Queen of Cups. I think this person has some legal consequences, and part of the reason that they're getting these legal consequences is because they were splashing some money that was not easy to explain, like how did you make that money? So this is like somebody robbed a bank and then decided they wanted to buy a car for their, spouse or their boyfriend or girlfriend, and then the law shows up and they're like, how'd you buy that car? I'm curious, And they're like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. But I feel like this is irresponsible because of how they spend money with regards to their relationships. 5 of Wands in the reverse, 7 of Wands, 10 of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, this is like, you know, I could get a regular cheeseburger, but I would rather get one flown in from Italy. You know, like there's something here where it's extravagant. It's ridiculous. Or just, you know, the kind of gift is extravagant, right? 6 of Pentacles in the reverse, but they can't explain where they got the money for it. This could be someone who's being investigated because of really expensive nuptials or a big celebration, a crazy honeymoon. It's like someone didn't really think about how showing off what they've got would potentially have consequences if they couldn't, you know, justify those expenses, right? Hello, adversary. Hello, Jason. Oh, I tend to avoid the health questions. Hello, Dave. How are you? Oh, you're so welcome, Dana. I hope your day is going well. This is the Morgan Greer. We have the 9 of Swords and the Lovers. Someone who's concerned because they're realizing that maybe they haven't been making the best of decisions. Maybe they've been a little bit a little bit too free in terms of the expenses, or maybe they've been trying to show off for someone. Maybe they even let someone else spend money for them. But this Page of Wands is in the reverse because it's like, I really should have read the room a little bit better than that, or known that that was a bad idea, you know? Hello, Antonio. How are you? Hello, Mystery. Hello, Casimiro. How are you? Ooh, is it Kawaii? Wait, you told me before. I feel bad. Wow, we have another 4 of Wands. I do feel like this is something to do with a large expense. It could even be getting someone's like rent for them and someone not being able to explain how they had that money. The only explanation is corruption or a bribe or, you know, somebody who has stolen money. And this is somebody who feels backed into a corner because they can't really explain it, you know? Hello, Immortal. How are you? We've got Hierophant in the reverse. Someone who took the path less traveled, but perhaps in kind of a negative way. We've got a person who felt like they could, you know, scale the side of a mountain instead of drive up the road, and they've twisted their ankle. You know, they've underestimated how difficult it would be to pull off what they've achieved. And, you know, like you could be a famous and super talented gymnast, but if you can't, what do they call it? Like stick the ending where you're not like all wobbly after you land on the ground. That's going to impact everything, right? So this is somebody who maybe they can do a lot of flips. Maybe they can, you know, make things look really cool. But if they get to the end and they tumble, then people are going to be like, why'd you have to go and ruin it? You know, or a TV show who has a horrible ending. You can go ahead and compete in the comments or discuss which one was the worst. But this is somebody who did not close out that situation very well. They left a lot of details out in the open that made it obvious that there was something here that was worth investigating, and as a result, there's attention on this person trying to figure out, how did you get the money for this particular expense? This thing that seems to be more than what you make, and exhibits that this person was being a bit selfish, right? If they had thought to keep a lower profile, they probably would have gotten away with whatever it is that they've done. It's like somebody who, you know, well, It's somebody who feels like they can do math in secret and nobody else will be able to figure it out. But numbers are kind of unforgiving, you know? Hello, Divya. How are you doing? I'll do personal questions about 30 minutes in, and I do show priority to those who tip or donate. Hello, Diesel. How are you doing? Hello, James. All right, this is the Edgar Allan Poe. What else do we have? Nine of Pentacles in the reverse. Oh, thank you, Dana. Whatever comes out. I got you. You like this one? Yeah, this is one of the older tarot decks. I've had this one for quite a while. Nine of Pentacles in the reverse is somebody who is generally not able to pay the bills or struggles to navigate some of those difficulties that you may encounter if you like own a business or if you have, you know, mortgage payment, whatever. This is somebody who tends to get caught up in problems. With the moon in the reverse, they're trying to avoid doing things that they have to do, or like they want to get everything on clearance, right? The problem is whatever they've cheated, or it's like they didn't do their taxes right, or they claim too much, or they're gonna get caught with this. They didn't really anticipate that there would be attention to it. Oh, thank you for doing that, Dana. I so appreciate that. And what's up, Dufresne? Hello, how's it going, Helena? We've got the Two of Wands in the reverse. And the Page of Swords. I think we had the Two of Wands in the reverse from the first tarot deck as well. This is like having, you know, a pretty clear decision in front of you and choosing the wrong way. So this could have been like, I have the option to remedy this the right way, even though it might be a little bit more painful or cost more money or take more time. I could do that, but instead I chose to do the wrong thing, right? Hello, West Coast. Hello, Vishnu. Hello, Dawn. Hello, Pabno. I do personal questions at about 30 minutes in with priority to those who tip. Hello, Do. How are you doing? Five of Swords. The problem is this is someone who overestimated their ability to navigate this strategy without getting caught. I don't know, man. I feel like I've seen enough movies to know that if you pull off some heist, you don't go like showing off what you've got, right? I feel like lay low is a term that has become popularized because of movies like that. And this is somebody who was like, no, I did something awesome, so I'm gonna go do something splashy. All right, so I guess this was somebody who did not see those movies. This King of Swords in the reverse has lied or has misled somebody, and now they have to explain why they lied because the information is kind of indisputable, just right in front of their face. So this could be someone who just like pretty much immediately says, I'm gonna need a lawyer. Yeah, I feel like this is someone who gets defensive very quickly and realizes that they did make the wrong choice and now they're faced with a more difficult choice. Is it time to be honest? Is it time to, you know, put the hands up and say, okay, you got me? Or are they going to try to find some way to outsmart the people who may have already figured them out? Hello, Mina. How are you doing? Oh, I'm sorry you're having a rough day. Queen of Cups again. There's this like really sweet exterior, And maybe not all the time, because this is also someone who comes through as the King of Swords in the reverse. But this is someone who can do like the puppy eyes when they need to ask a favor, or come across as, you know, a little bit more kind than they had previously. And then just like that, their mood can change and they lose their temper and things escalate very quickly. So I don't know if I want to go so far as to say this person's two-faced. It's just that their moods change very quickly and they can get angry without much notice at all, which makes sense because we did start out with that pressure cooker card talking about somebody who's about to lose their temper, right? Oh, good luck with that, author. Whoa, 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 whoa. Please don't spam live chat. Hello, Kenzie. How are you doing? Thank you for subscribing. We have open heart and exhaustion. So the vulnerability here is in part because this is someone who's been doing something over a long period of time. So when you try to keep up appearances, or when you are hiding something over a long period of time, just by like the numbers game, it's going to be more challenging, right? More opportunities to potentially say something that you shouldn't, or tell the secret to your best friend. This person has maybe for a little while been able to have kind of a low profile and not make it obvious that they had, you know, broken the law or done something they shouldn't. But when they do, you know, buy some ridiculous gift for someone or spend a lot of money, they're going against the intuition that's telling them that's a bad idea and feeling like, I've earned it. I've waited so long. I don't want to wait anymore. Hello, Deception Earth. How are you doing? This was a test for them, and it looks like they are not necessarily doing so great, because if they fall for that temptation to show off, then, you know, they haven't learned anything. It's more like they're adding on to their negative karma because they've done something they shouldn't have anyways, like steal something. Twin flame, clarity, truth, intentions, honesty, and broken. This is someone who's trying to skip a few steps in their personal growth because they're dealing with a twin flame journey. They may feel a little bit desperate trying to catch up to their partner or the person they see as their twin flame. And they may realize that if they don't move with a sense of urgency, they could lose out on this connection. So I feel like we have somebody who wanted to kind of like frog leap over a few things. Maybe if I can improve my finances and, you know, not take as much time doing so, then I'll be able to have more time with this person, or I won't have to worry about losing them. But their actions end up, I think, actually severing this tie. So it has the opposite effect. Their desperation pushed them to do something they knew they shouldn't have done so that they could get something that they hadn't earned, and now they've probably lost access to it, or to you, right? Hello, is it Juma? How are you doing? We've got shallow, hollow, empty, and boredom. And hoping, expecting, faith, and manifesting. So the other twin flame who has not been stealing money or doing something outlandish, this is someone who has been trying to follow the way that they feel they're supposed to go by the rules, or very like specific, right? Have you ever had like GPS tell you to take a longer way to get where you needed to go, and you were like, I think I can go this way. Sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't, right? This would be the type of person who would be like, no, 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 my GPS told me to turn here, so this is what I'm going to do, you know? This is maybe part of the reason that you two are seen as twin flames or feel that connection, because there is definitely a pretty big difference in terms of your perspectives. One of you is much more focused on healing and takes it seriously, and the other one seems to just feel like if they want it enough, they can kind of bypass some of the things that they need to do. And it doesn't work that way. So if they're not doing right by this twin flame journey, which, just to be clear, is to be able to stand on your own, work on your self-worth and your intuition, feeling grounded, not being caught up in toxic or unhealthy energies. When you are able to focus on yourself and love yourself and be happy on your own and face that connection you have with somebody else without wanting them to like fix all of your problems for you, and you both have healed, that's when the magic is amazing for that twin flame journey, and that's where that connection really starts to seem otherworldly, or more so perhaps. But this is somebody who's not doing the work, paired up with a person who has been doing the work. And I know that can be frustrating to think about, but that's when a divine counterpart generally enters the equation. Yeah, no addresses, please. Thank you for the bubble heart. I appreciate it. This is the gold foil tarot. We have the Hanged Man and the Seven of Pentacles, with the Nine of Wands and the Four of Wands. Yeah, we've got a person who waited. This Hanged Man is the other end of that twin flame connection, right? The person who has been able to focus on things. They do see the world differently. They've been waiting patiently. I put in what I needed to in order to make this work, but you're over here kind of overly defensive or not willing to cooperate with like the plan or like the program, right? They want to procrastinate or avoid that healing, whereas you have embraced it. Doesn't mean you're perfect and they're awful. It just means that it's, you know, a little bit different, right? We have the Eight of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune. So because you've put in the work, there is something you don't really expect to happen that is coming in for you. And I do feel like this is a new love. Some of you have been wanting this for a while. Others of you may be kind of warming up to the idea and letting go of this twin flame because you realize that they have to be sincere about it. Wherever you are in that journey, there's someone here who shows up while you're still kind of confused. Is this the person that I'm supposed to be with or not? Or are they working on their healing? I feel like you might get confirmation that the twin flame is not doing the healing work that they need to be right around the same time that you meet this new person. It helps you to be a little bit more open-minded and ready to connect to somebody else, right? I don't know who makes these cards, but this is called the Gold Foil Tarot. Hello, L-Dog, how are you doing? We have yeah, I don't know for this particular one. I just know the name of it. We have the Seven of Cups in the reverse for clarity and someone who feels like, you know, maybe it's time for me to look into other options. Clarity around things that you deserve and what you want. Realizing that you've been dealing with somebody who might have been a little bit overly secretive or not willing to open up and be vulnerable in the context of a relationship. So now it looks like there's this ability to see things that maybe previously you weren't really open-minded to. I don't know if I want to date anybody else, or I don't know if I really want to be talking to anybody else, but if I'm honest with myself about whether or not I should really hold space for this twin flame. I guess the answer is perhaps not, or if it's meant to be, it will come back around at some other point. Hello, Zane. How are you doing? Ooh, hold on. Yeah, we do have the divine timing card, so that's aligning with that Wheel of Fortune, which talks about somebody else coming through as far as a love interest. So what else do we have? Everything will work when the universe sees fit. And then we have someone who's feeling trapped within a connection. You're getting frustrated because you feel like you've done what you should have, but they have been slacking. But the reality is you don't have to sit around and wait for someone who's not willing to work on the connection. They are guarded and unwilling to let somebody really know who they are. And you deserve somebody who's willing to be vulnerable and authentic with you. So I think this is where, whoever you are, if this is your reading, you're at this point where you're like, okay, so what if I'm just kind of agnostic to it? What if I'm just kind of like, if it happens with the twin flame, cool, but I'm not going to like deny others for this, person who hasn't really put forth the effort, right? I hope you have a good day as well. This is the Cook's Tarot. We have the 10 of Pentacles, the Magician, and the Moon. So you may not have realized that you have the ability to manifest certain things into your life. Some of you may be fully aware of it, but I do see you manifesting a long-term relationship. And it's like the universe is saying, we heard you, we want you to have that long-term relationship. If it doesn't happen with that twin flame, then there's somebody else who's going to be coming through and introducing themselves. Hello, Bapak, how are you doing? Hello, Alvisa. Hello, Ray. How's it going? We have the 4 of Cups and the 2 of Cups. When you walk away from the twin flame or open up to the idea of meeting someone else, it like completes that call, that like request, or if you want to pretend you're in a restaurant making an order, yes, one new love please. Extra side of honesty please. There's just like something very decisive about your energy at that time that lets go of the old and focuses on the new. Because it does look to me like whoever has been trying to find a way to kind of game the system or get back into your life or be your person without doing the work, they're getting caught up with legal things right now because they were so willing to ignore what they need to do, Hello, Mr. Amrit, how are you doing? All right, we have the 3 of Wands in the reverse and the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. So this is a sense of, maybe a little bit of guilt because you realize that there is this person that has captured your attention, a new person who has captured your attention. And you, for a long time, I think, were hoping to make things work with this twin flame. At the very least, you were a little bit like biased against other people if they were not your twin flame. But you're getting to the point now where you're more excited at the idea of a new love because you've waited for so long for this person to actually work through the things that they needed to. If they aren't going to be able to offer something reliable, or if they can't manage to get some sense of stability within their life, then you see that your choice has to be walking away or starting something new with the Chariot in the reverse. Otherwise, you miss out on what you're supposed to be enjoying because you're caught up waiting for this person and stuck yourself as a result. So I'm proud of you. It looks like we've got somebody who is willing to make a pretty significant change emotionally, even though it's not easy. letting go of a twin flame is, I think, something a lot of people avoid talking about because, well, like, just to be like totally blunt about it, I think there are people who feel they make a lot of money by telling you that your twin flame is your twin flame, and it'll always end up that you two are going to be together. But the reality is, anybody who makes those kind of comments, I don't know, makes me a little bit suspicious because there are exceptions to every rule, and we do have free will. There are going to be twin flame journeys where people do not go through the journey to the total end and actually learn the things that they're meant to learn. And in that case, there's a different outcome. So the different outcome is financial constraints for this person who has refused to do their healing. And that is something that you are not meant to experience. They may even hear, you know, little stories here and there or see things on social media that hint at your abundance or your glow up or things improving for you, and they may be envious. And that's just, I guess, how it's got to be, because they do know that you did the work. So in a way, it's kind of like the universe wants to show them, if you had done the work, then you would have been able to, you know, have more abundance as well. Instead, we've got this issue. So they can see to your path, they can see that you're doing better, or that things are improving for you. But for them, they've got some consequences for their actions, or maybe even some sort of legal consequences here, because of a financial like shortcut that they've taken. Hello, Jago. How are you doing? Hello, Bitchy Tata. What's up? All right, I'm going to switch over to the personal questions for Dana. We've got a random card pull. Let's see what we've got for Dana, please. We have my favorite card in all the land, the Queen of Swords. So Dana, this is a card that talks about boundaries, but one of the things that I love about this card is that the Queen of Swords is also kind of like patting the seat next to her. I guess it's kind of like she's saying, sit down next to me, let's talk it out. So I feel like there's something here that isn't on the right track. And when you have a conversation and you are open to it and forgiving, I feel like you're able to address what has been causing anxiety for you and another person. It may be something that you are currently viewing as a failure, but you haven't got all the details of the story. So there's more to it. We've got the Queen of Cups, the Five of Pentacles in the reverse. There's some loving energy here that's going to surprise you. In other words, you might expect somebody to be mad or disconnected from you, but you don't realize that this person is changing their perspective on the situation, or their appreciation for you has grown, to the point where I think you notice a change in behavior, or you know, how they treat you. So I like that. Hello, Michael. How are you doing? So Dana, don't disregard the intuition. I feel like the intuition is going to advise you to be positive. There's someone here who has a different approach, something you may not expect. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I love you all. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you on the next reading. Toodles.